Assalamu alaikum students, hopefully you are good and fine. Today date is 16 December 2022 and day is Friday. Last time we studied about developed countries and underdeveloped countries. So today we will study about the comparison between developed and underdeveloped countries and which geographical facts can promote development in underdeveloped countries. So before starting, I will ask questions from you. Can you please tell me what are developed countries? Okay, yes, good. Developed countries are economically stable nations, the countries where the quality of life is good. Okay, anyone else can tell me, can name some of the developed countries? Yes, UK, USA, France, Spain, they are the developed nations where the quality of life is good. If I mean, what do you mean by the quality of life? Can you explain about it? Yes. The countries where where the state of health, where the level of education, they are good, they are the developed countries, and if the level of health, state of education is low, they are underdeveloped countries. So there are also, before doing the comparison between developed and underdeveloped countries, there are some terms. Now we will understand about them. So our topic is developed and underdeveloped countries. So there are some terms through which we can compare the developed and underdeveloped countries. So students, can you define what is the difference between developed and underdeveloped countries? So if I talk about the difference between developed and underdeveloped countries, these are the basic three differences. So firstly we have to define these terms. Like, what is gross national income? Can anyone guess from this term, gross national income? What is gross national income? So if I talk about it, gross national income, it's basically the total amount of money that is earned by nation's people and people who are living abroad. So it means the people who are living within the borders of a country and people who are also the residents of of that country and also living and earning in abroad. For example, if there are people from Pakistan who are there are some people who are living in Pakistan, so their earning will be counted in gross national income, and there are also some Pakistani people who are living in USA or in UK, so their earning will also be counted. So the collective earning of people who are producing something or doing earning for the country within the borders of country, and the people who are living abroad in other countries, but the residents, but the national they have the nationalities of Pakistan, it will be accumulated in gross national income. So this is gross national income. And next is literacy rate. Can you guess what is literacy rate? Okay, it's actually the percentage of people of given age group that can read and write. Means it's a specific age group of people that can read and write. Like if I talk about Pakistan, the current literacy rate of Pakistan is around about 62%. Means there are only 62% of Pakistan people who are able to read and write. Okay. Okay, next we have is per capita income. So what can you guess what is meant by this per capita income? It's a measure of amount of money that is earned per person in a nation. So actually, earned amount of money that is earned per person in a nation. So actually, if I talk about it, it is the amount of money earned per person. Okay, so it's the amount of money that is earned per person within a country, and literacy is the percentage of people. It's the percentage of people who are able to read and write. Okay, and gross national income is the income of people living within country and outside. So, if I talk about gross national income, it's the income of people that are living within country and that are living outside the country. And if I talk about literacy rate, it's a percentage of people who are able to read and write. And if we talk about per capita income, it's amount of money earned per person. So these are the basic terms through which we can compare between the developed and underdeveloped countries. Now, can you guess like how these things can create a difference between the developed and underdeveloped nation? Like you can see there's a huge difference between developed and underdeveloped nations. The developed nations, as I have already explained it to you, developed nations are like UK, USA, they are the developed nations, and underdeveloped nations, if we include, and it is you can say it's Afghanistan, even unfortunately Pakistan is also included in underdeveloped countries. So these are some examples of developed and underdeveloped countries. But how these basic terms like gross national income, literacy rate, per capita income, they can create a difference between developed and underdeveloped countries. So if I talk about this gross national income, of course, the developed nations, they have a high gross national income. And if I talk about literacy rate, they have a high literacy rate. Like USA literacy rate is around about 99%, so you can guess from it. And if I talk about per capita income, it's also high in case of developed countries. And if we talk about the underdeveloped countries, their gross national income is very low, their literacy rate is very low, and their per capita income is also very low. So these are some of the differences between the developed and underdeveloped countries, like how high gross national income and high literacy rate, high per capita income, they have made some countries develop, and how lower level of gross national income, literacy rate and per capita income, they have made some countries underdeveloped. Now let's see what are the other points that are also causing a difference between developed and underdeveloped nations. Can you guess about it? Make any one of you, can you guess about it? Yes. There are some other things like agricultural production, and industrial production. So of course, the developed nations, they have a high agricultural production, and if I talk about the industrial production, developed nations have a high industrial production. Agricultural production means that the production of crops, different crops like rice, wheat, they are high in developed countries, like they have a complete amount of food in developed countries. And if I talk about industrial production, like different cars, different production of cars, different chemicals, different fertilizers, different garments, cloths, they are also good and high in developed countries, whereas the underdeveloped countries, they usually have to import these products from other nations, mostly from developed nations. So we have sometimes underdeveloped nations, they have to import agricultural products from other nations, sometimes they have to import industrial products from other nations. So these are causing major differences between developed and underdeveloped nations. So now let's comparing it. I will explain it in this way. Annual per capita income of developed countries is much more than the underdeveloped countries. Per capita income is the amount of money that is earned per person. So annual means yearly. So by 1 year, per capita income of developed countries is much more than the underdeveloped countries, and the level of literacy in developed countries is very high, while the literacy rate is very low in underdeveloped countries. So these are basically two differences. And if I talk about another thing, it's about the population. So moving on, our next point, it's the population. So what can you guess from this? So students, what can you guess from this? How is population growth in developed nations and how is population in underdeveloped nations? Make a guess about it. So yes, this is very true. Population growth rate is very high in underdeveloped countries as compared to the developed countries. So the underdeveloped countries, they have a high population rate. Like if I talk about Pakistan, we are at 4th or 5th number, and we have a high population as compared to other countries. The majority of population in developed countries, it enjoys the facilities that are required for life. So that's why they are called developed countries. And the majority that is present in underdeveloped nations, they are forced to survive in poverty. So you can guess from here what our population, like if I talk about Pakistan, what is the status of most of the people that are living in Pakistan? It's below average. Like most of the people, they are poor. So you can guess from here that how the population is living in underdeveloped countries. Population growth rate is very high in underdeveloped countries. And thirdly, population that is living in underdeveloped nations, they are forced to live below, as poor people. Now students, we will do how some geographical facts that can promote development. Like we have talked about developed countries and underdeveloped countries. We have discussed that it is gross national income, literacy rate, per capita income, agricultural production, industrial production, and the population growth. But how these things, they are helpful to developed countries, and why underdeveloped countries are not having these things and they lack in literacy rate and per capita income and all the other factors. So now let's discuss about the facts that can promote development in underdeveloped countries. So now let's discuss what are the facts that can promote in development in underdeveloped countries. Because developed countries are already developed, we need development in underdeveloped countries. So make some points. Can you give me some points how we can promote development in underdeveloped countries? Okay, yes. There are some natural resources that can promote development. Yes. There are two types of resources that can promote development. Firstly, we will talk about natural resources. So, first point in natural resources will be the water resources. But before explaining it, you tell me what are natural resources. Yes, students, tell me what are natural resources. Yes, good. Natural resources are those resources which are created by the nature. Okay. For example, we have water resources, we have different forest resources, we have forest resources, and we have soil fertility. Forest resources. If you have a fertile soil, okay, I talk about water resources, can you guess what type of water resources are helpful for the development of countries, that can promote development in underdeveloped countries? Yes, if the water resources like oceans and rivers, they are present in a country, they will be helpful. And if the soil is fertile, now there is a link between these things. If the soil is fertile and if the water resources are present. So there is a point how water resources are helpful and how fertile soil is helpful for making a country, converting an underdeveloped country into a developed country. Because if water resources like water, rivers and oceans are present around the country, so these resources are helpful in for improving the agriculture of a country. If the soil is fertile, there will be more agriculture, there will be more production of agricultural things. So we can say this point that because of the water resources and because of fertile soil, agricultural production of a country is increased. And secondly, if I talk about the forest resources, how forest resources are helpful? Like if there are more forests in a country, so it means that there will be less global warming in that country. The climate change, that is the major problem nowadays. So that country will be less affected from the climate change if there are more forest resources are present in a country. Apart from it, there are other like mineral resources. And the other thing is about power resources. So students, can you guess what are the mineral resources and what are the power resources? Can you make a guess about it? What are the mineral resources? Mineral resources are basically resources of iron and gold, if like they are present in some countries. So of course the countries who will move the iron and gold out of the surface of earth, they will be rich because they will further sell them and they will become rich. And if the power resources, like if there is coal gas, if I talk about the mineral resources, let's discuss about it. It's the coal, it's natural gas, and it's petroleum. So if these mineral resources are present in a country like coal, natural gas and petroleum, if they are present in a country, they are helpful in in converting a country from underdevelopment towards development. Now make a guess how a country can be developed if these resources are present. Of course, because we are making electricity by using coal, we have a natural gas that is used in our homes, we use petrol. So if these resources are naturally present in a country, the country will not need to take these things from other countries, because if we want to take these things from other countries, we have to pay it for them, we have to pay it. So we will not to buy these things from the other countries if these resources are present in our country, and we will also sell them. So this will add money into our economy. So these are some of the natural resources that are helpful. Now let's discuss about the human resources. The second resource that can promote development, it's human resources. Is this a new term for you? No? So okay, tell me what are human resources? The main thing that should be is skilled people. Human resources mean skilled people, people who are skilled. People who are skilled scientifically and they are also skilled in technology. As you know, this is a time of advanced technology. So if you are skilled scientifically and if you are skilled in technology, so this is a good addition in human resources of a country. Because if I give you an example of recent any incident, so like during coronavirus, Pakistan, there was no one who can make a vaccine for coronavirus. So we have to take, or you can say we have to buy it from the other developed countries. There were scientifically skilled people in developed countries, like there were scientifically skilled people in USA and UK. We have to buy the vaccine from those countries. So if those skilled people are present in our country, we don't need to buy it from the other country. So these are some of the human resources and the already discussed natural resources. They can add, they can promote development in underdeveloped countries. So this was the topic. Firstly, we did comparison of developed and underdeveloped countries, and then we discussed about some facts that can promote in development in underdeveloped countries. In the next lesson, we will also discuss about the problems that are being faced by the underdeveloped countries, like the problems, economic problems, social problems, and different political problems. Until then, please understand this and revise this. Inshallah, Allah Hafiz.